I'm going to reflect on the analysis, and what I basically see is a huge fascination for what we could call Web 2.0, and or on one hand, and the other hand is that a great fascination for these social platforms, which Sibel just reflected on. And just to go back 10 years, then this guy, Tim O'Reilly, who invented the Tim O'Reilly Media Company, he saw the Web 2.0 rise. And what he thought of was the web as a platform, more than just a homepage. And a platform containing services which would include the users to be contributors to the whole branding experience. And he was kind of optimistic. Web 2.0 was this revolution of blogging, of Napster. We started talking about SEO. We had Wikipedia. And we talked about a lot of services which would include the users on the website to engage them and to entertain the users while engaging with the brand. And he told that customers would be building your business for you, which is kind of optimistic 10 years ago. And now we see that it didn't happen. The user would be an integrated part of your website, he said. And you could now comment a blog, subscribe to RSS feed, and co-edit a widget. And the reason why I mention this is that we see a lot of fascination for these functionalities still on the corporate websites. But the content doesn't match. So there's a huge fascination for the technical part of the website. I guess it's been really expensive to develop when they did it. But the content doesn't match, and the stories doesn't match. And the humans behind the stories don't allow their presence. So this engaged audience on your website, it's pretty much just an empty seat, an abandoned corporate website. And if you think about it, the thing is that when you dig deep enough, you see these active social platforms, and you see the active social medias, and the huge presence and the huge face of the company is present there. But it's just like throwing a party and asking people to come over and promising them it would be a blast when you come there. And then when they step inside the door, you ask them to go next door. There's an even bigger party there. And it's just like what's happening with the social prison right now, is that you have a very living social network outside of your door, outside of your company. And it's still the same faces. But the thing is that these people are much more engaged there, and they are much more alive, and your employees are much more alive. So what happened? What I think is that we try to take the best from the social networks and the social network sites and integrate them on the website. But it was just too expensive. It's too difficult to connect the APIs. So now we're just linking outside of the company website. And that's what we see. This is an American pharmacy company where they created the social media space, which is kind of a good idea because it actually shows that they are active there. But instead of connecting all the content, telling the good stories there, they're just doing text links outside of the site. The same thing with the TDC. I think they are really beautiful social icons, but they don't. I mean, what do I expect on Facebook? Is it a career page? Is it customer service? Can I buy a TV there? What? I mean, not by TDC, but someone else. What's behind the Twitter account? I don't see it, and it's pretty simple to include. And I think the most awful thing is this share on more. I mean, 285 different social medias I can share this random piece of article on. And I mean, I don't even know 95% of those social medias. And the list is like that long. And it's just, I mean, it's not serious for the user. And it's not showing that face that you really want to do with it. And you really want to communicate that you have a huge presence somewhere else, but it doesn't reflect that you're actually there, you're inside the door, you're at the party, just entertain me, tell me your good stories. And social media has really become what the website is not. And I think the reason is that you're pretty much moving below the radar. The governance of the website is really strong. In most of your big companies, you probably know that the communication department or the board of managers have some sort of stance towards your website. But just as Maersk Line's experienced, when you try something for fun and you see if it works, it's pretty easy to shut down if it doesn't. And if it's going to be a success, everybody's going to be happy about it. And then it's there. And then you want to actively incorporate it into the bottom line or the business goals of your company. And that's actually the reason why I think a lot of people are starting to try different stuff on the social media, because they enhances it, and it's pretty easy for the user to feel engaged with a brand when there's a real person writing to you. And the content is much more alive there. I think what we basically see with the corporate website is that if the employee and the customer wants to meet, there's some sort of barrier there. You don't see the face, you don't have the personal connection, or you don't get the values, and you don't talk to each other. And that's basically what social media is all about, and that's why it's such a great success. It's that it enhances an easy interaction. These platforms were built with social in mind and with dialogue in mind. And what we really see is that you can actually bypass the corporate website on your journey by seeking a job, applying for a job, or buying a product. And I'm just going to show you two user journeys, the one for a B2C company and the other one for a B2B company, how I can move around engaging with a brand without being on the corporate website. So this is me. I'm a customer. I want to buy a bike. Let's say that. So I start Googling a product. Where can I get great bikes? What's the best bike for me? I even ask a friend on Facebook, what bike do you recommend? I even might ask a brand on Twitter where I can buy their great bikes. And after that, I can compare my prices on Price Runner. And then I go to a multi-brand web shop and perhaps buy my bike or go to another shop to actually try it. But I never have to enter the website of the bike producer. And that's really what this is all about, that you can maneuver all around the website without even noticing. And you can actually have a great experience by relying on your friends, by relying on customer service, by relying on a third-party provider of what we could call it democratic prices. And then in the end, you can buy without even being on the actual producer's shop. The same thing goes on for a potential employee. Let's say I find a job on Stepstone and I don't know the company. Then I would probably Google the company because I want to know if I could match their demands, or if the people are nice there, how is my development going to be? Then I meet the company website. And let's say it's one of those 85% company pages that really are sleeping or makes me yawn. I don't really know what to do. I don't know if I could apply that job, if I should. So probably I would go to LinkedIn and find a really active environment around that company and the employees. So I browse the current employees just to see who they are, what are their experiences, how do they describe the company there. And I even try to see if my contacts, how am I related to them through my contacts. And actually I can apply the job. I don't need to go back to Stepstone. I can do it right away on LinkedIn. And afterwards, I can engage in a group discussion on that company's page just to show my dedication. And in the end, I tell about it in my application on Twitter. Tell them that I'm looking forward to talking to them. So this experience is also jumping from one external touchpoint to another external touchpoint without even being on the website. And my last job, I applied a job where my company didn't have a website. We were 35 people, but we didn't have a website. And I asked my boss for my first job interview why that went there, and he was afraid that the competitors would steal his employees. I mean, think about that. It's 2012, and I mean, I could just find the company on LinkedIn. I found 30 employees there, and I could see who they were, what were their education. I mean, I could contact them right away. And one of the competitors also contacted me on Facebook 4 months later if I wanted to have a new job. And I mean, it just shows that you cannot hide away. And these strong platforms are really doing what they're doing. And they're doing a real damn good job. So why don't take the best from all of those and integrate on the website? Because that's, after all, where I expect to find it after I Google. I get into the web page on the website, and I want to engage there. This is a really long journey, but it's actually the right journey for me. So by bypassing, it's more like we avoid the corporate website, and we go to those pages where we find, or go to the content where we can see ourselves and we can see the real content and the real website. So it's not on the corporate website where we have the face and we have the story and we have the identity. it's more on the social channels right now, and that's yeah, that's something.